Okay, hello everyone. Here we are. Okay, good. And my guest is already backstage, and I don't even know what to say if I'm excited or what, but yeah, I'm feeling one kind. And this is not the first time I'm talking about heavy topics, but today is very, I don't know what, I don't know if I should say special. Um, We're going to be talking to a very dynamic woman, a survivor, and one who is doing just so much in the community. And she's my Bobo sister, Amazon sister. I have attended one of her events as a resource person, and we've collaborated on other areas, and we share a lot, and we really hold each other in high esteem. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking. I'm just going to bring her in. We are going to roll for like an hour and an hour, 15 minutes. And we're just going to be, reflecting on her work in particular. It's about her, it's not about me. That's their Facebook, the link to their Facebook page. The pictures we have seen, she will talk to us about it. And then please feel free to ask your questions, make your contributions, kindly share, let's keep normalizing this conversation, and let's stop making victims feel terrible about what happened to them, because they don't deserve it at all. And when I talk of victims, I myself am a survivor of one of the most brutal forms of rape, which is not acknowledged at all, and people don't want to talk about it. Spousal rape. I mean, apart from other forms of sexual abuse, this one is simply terrible. So this is my sister Nakinti. Welcome.
Thank you, sister. Thank you for having me.
I just want us to have a conversation. I don't like it to be formal. And did you see the pictures that were playing at the beginning?
I did. I saw all of them.
Okay, fine. So just introduce yourself, and then we are going to roll from there.
How I even introduce myself?
Any part that you want to share.
Let me just say my name is Nakinti. I have 3 very difficult names. You have to open your ears so well in order for you to know or to catch what my name is, or even be able to pronounce what this name is. So my name is Nakinti BESUMBU Nofuru. I hail from the Southwest region, Ndian Division to be precise. I am the founder and CEO of Rescue Women Cameroon. It's an organization that has been running for, I don't know, since 2013. I also work with the government, with the Ministry of Women Empowerment and the Family. I have one of the most controversial degrees in the world, right up to master's. A degree that when people hear, they say, now that one day, now them again. That's why she's not married. I have a first degree and master's in women and gender studies. And if I have the opportunity, I'm going to do a PhD in women and gender studies as well, because I'm not afraid of what people say. I always like to take the road less traveled. Basically, that's me.
Okay, now, so why are you sitting like that?
In front of my house. I shouldn't
Wow.
look at my front door.
I came to my mother's house to do this from my mother's house because I just want to feel my mother's presence. We're going to look at how mothers can support their children when something terrible like rape happens to them. And because I've heard of a few cases, I've actually even had a case of a mother of a child who was rejected by the mother because that child was raped by the father. Seriously, I thought that was just one case, but then I've seen a few other ones pop up, and I'm like, the way I love my mother, or the way my mother loves me, I don't think my mother can do that to me. And so I felt like, let me come and sit in my mother's house. I don't know. It is so. So I want to just start from there. Like, I want to ask you, because I've been having this question, like, Nakinti, who has worked with many more girls than I can ever work with, Nakinti herself, who has had her own very painful experience in life. Um, have you heard of cases where mothers, kind of like disown the child's story or the child altogether? And if yes, what do you think? And I don't know.
Yes, I have heard of stories like that. I have heard of so many stories about women who do not want to acknowledge that their children have been raped, primarily because the rapist is their family. It could be their husband, their brother, their cousin, their close family members. And to them, they feel like it's a shame. And to some women, they feel like they cannot break their marriage because of rape. So quite often, I begin to ask myself, how can women prioritize their marriage over their vulnerable children?
And have you seen like any particular case? And
It is,
were you able to talk to the mother or to the child?
yes, in about 2 instances, I've been able to talk to the mother. And the big, the big worry coming from the mother's side is how people go here. Now, family. What we talk at the family level. May this kind of disgrace no come out for outside, you know, and you just want to tell yourself, this is not something I can handle anymore. Let me just forward it to the state council so that the law can take its course. Because you continue to hear from women who are worried about their marriage, who are worried about their family more than the trauma that their children are going through. And this could be basically because we do not talk about this. We feel like it's a man's world, and we feel like family is far more important than the girl child, which is not supposed to be so. We need to, like you say, we need to normalize this conversation. We have to start deconstructing all of those stereotypes that are holding us back in order to reconstruct a structure which is befitting and I don't know which word to use, better enough for to accommodate women and girls.
Yeah, your volume.
I don't know. Somebody was calling. I think it took
Oh,
down my volume. How
okay.
do I bring it back up?
Okay. So now
Yes.
let me go into a little more small personal before I go into the work you are doing. Please permit me.
I have to bring back my volume up because I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Uh,
Okay, well, before Nakiti comes back, I think she's having some small technical issues. She'll be back. Thank you so much, Grandson Bell. Good afternoon. Thank you so much. Okay, Nakinti is back. I hope she can hear me now.
yes, I
Nakinti, can
can.
you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Oh, thank you. Okay, thank you. I was saying that I just wanted to touch on a little personal as far as rape is concerned, and then we can go into the work that REWOCAM is doing. And I know that
Okay.
you have talked about your experience and everything already, so it's out there. So if I ask you a question and you don't feel like answering, don't answer. But I'm not going to ask you too much. I just want to ask you especially how you felt and at what time you told your mother. Those two questions.
Uh, I felt dirty for 24 years. I felt worthless for 24 years. I felt less of a woman for 24 years. I felt pain deep inside me for 24 years. But
24.
24 good years. I
How old were
couldn't say
you now? I did
anything.
not really pay attention to that.
I was about 14 or 15.
Can you imagine? Okay.
Yes, I was about
Wow.
14 or 15 when it happened. And I remember my mom was not around. I've told this story several times. My mom was not around. My mom was in Nigeria with my sick sister for treatment. And we were just home with our dad, who had retired at the time. And he was busy following up his stuff. You know
Sure.
how retirement they be for workers where they never start receive pension or their entitlements have not been paid. He was working for a parastatal at the time. And we were just vulnerable. There was poverty, there was everything, with a mother who was not around, with a sick sister who had been sick for 5 good years and all of that. And we were just waiting for, oh, the call for Papa letter don't come from head office, they want to pay him. And that is what that guy used to get me. Hey, come. Father's letter is here. Come and pick up your father's letter from the head office. And I stood outside waiting. And he came and beckoned me, come take the letter. Why are you standing outside? What are you afraid of? I got in and that was it. And I don't know, I was going to school that morning. I had to go back to the house because I was bleeding profusely. I was bleeding and I took a shortcut and I went to the house and got to the bathroom, took my bath, got to the bed and slept. This is such a painful experience for me. I remember during secondary school or even in adult life, you know, when girls sit and they are kind of talking about, oh, my first love, the guy would with me, and all of that, and people are fantasizing about that whole experience. I do not have it. I have never had a story to tell people about my first love and my disvirgin experience and all of that. You can imagine. Other people are telling their stories and I have no story to tell because it's a case of rape. So I felt like in 2018, when I finally told this story, is it 2018 or 2017? I kind of removed a burden off my shoulder and I became as free as I have never felt so free. About my mom, I never told my mom. I remember the day I told him. My sister had just returned from the US. And we were supposed to go to a funeral. So we got up at about 4 a.m. We had to cook, take it to the funeral. So we were cooking. At that period when I was telling anyone, my mom was there, my sister was there, my sisters were there. I was in 2018, just shortly before I told this story. And we were tying a camp. So there was something I want to tell all of you. There was a discussion. There was a discussion around rape and all of that. Then I said, I want to tell all of you. My mom was there. And I told him to just listen. And then I told him the whole story. Then I called the name of the rapist, who happened to be a close member of our family. And that instant, my mother shouted and was like, Jesus Christ. Besumbu, you don't talk witchcraft. In our dialect, she said something like, Okanoe Borimba. It means, you know, if you have witchcraft and you cannot say it. And all of after a while, it takes so long for you to pick up the courage to say, I have witchcraft. That's how my mother shouted in the dialect, say, Okanoe Borimba. So you don't talk witchcraft. Say, now what did happen? Why you never tell me for all these years? How could this guy do such a thing? I saw my elder sister that she was tying, and she was staring at me for a very long time. And she said, you say, if Manfred do you this thing? I say, yes, sister. And she said, where is she? Where is he? I say, I have no idea. She said, we have to look for him. She said, the problem has only begun. So I know everybody was, I don't know, everybody was, I don't know, you know the silence in the air, you know the pain in people's hearts. My elder brother who brought them from Kumba was still sleeping, and my elder sister had to go and wake him up and say, Ngando, come hear the thing with this don't talk today. And he came out from the room at 5 a.m. and they told him the story. He too put his head on the ground and said, he said, where do this thing? I say, yes. Where is he? I say, I don't know. He said, okay, the war has started. Because we cannot imagine that you went through this for all of these years and you could not say anything. We can imagine all the pain, and then they say, now we understand why you are the person that you are. We understand why you have a kind of we understand why you have a kind of resistance towards marriage. We understand why a lot of things. Then I told them, oh, I do not think all those things are related. I don't know. Well, maybe you can tell me because you are of the mental health side. Maybe they have a relationship that I didn't know about, but they told me now we know why you are the person that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we
Yeah.
know. And we feel
Yes.
like we are going to support you through this process. And we are happy that you have told us the story. And we want you to expose the person. They said, do you have the courage to do so? We know you are very courageous. I said, yes, I have the courage to do so. So I remember the day that my sister traveled back to the US and called me after about a week and said, Besumbu, you're not ready for tell us. I said, yes, sister, I'm ready to tell this story. She said, okay, how are you going to tell this story? I said, I'm going to tell this story in 5 parts. And I'm going to telling the story. So I got all the support that I needed from my family. They were behind me. And even when I started telling that story and people were contacting them, to stop, they were contacting my brothers and my sisters. What is she saying? How can she be telling the world that she was raped? That is on social media. And my sisters and my brothers were telling them, you guys should chill. It is her life. It is her desire. It is her willingness to tell a story like that. Let her speak. We want her to talk and call the name of the rapist because we are in the process of waiting. We want him to come forward on the day that she will call the person's name so that we can know where he is. We want him to come forward and tell what is going on so that we can take it from there. So you see, I don't know if I 4 years ago they would have believed me, or they would have shut me down to say, oh, not but I know that when I finally told my story a few years ago, I had the full support from my family, and that is what has been me.
That's beautiful. That's
Mhm.
beautiful. And I think when you have that kind of support, no matter what stigma comes from other people, it doesn't
Yeah,
get to you, right?
yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. To me, the day I told my story is the day I got closure and I got freedom everlasting.
It's
Because I
very
remember,
important. It's
yeah,
very important. It's
yeah,
very important because
yes.
when we don't get that, we don't get that support.
Mm-hmm,
Or when we are scared that there might be no support, we keep it
mm-hmm,
inside us. And when
yeah.
we are, for example, in your case, you said for 24 years. I don't know why you waited, but I think you were also like, I don't want to break, or would they believe me? Or
Mm-hmm,
what would they say? Or they'll say, but it's past, let it be. I don't know. Like,
mm-hmm.
what were the things going on inside you that prevented you from sharing before you finally did?
I think it's shame. I think it's the belief that it's not okay for a girl to be raped. Blame. They are going to blame me for being the cause of my rape. Um, there is something that they call, you can put it rightly for me, relationship with your parents. I grew up in a very stern household. My mom, at old age don't make you see that they can make hold you. It makes so. My mom was very stern. My dad was super, super stern. How on earth could you just walk to them and tell them that, mommy, they don't rape me, or papa, they don't rape me? You are just scared that they'll beat the hell out of you. They'll beat the hell out of you, you know? So that is why I keep telling parents to build that relationship with their children. Uh, I'm
And
not
the more
getting
you
you.
kept it inside you, the more it dealt with you inside you, right?
The more it dealt with me. It dealt with me like the day I told the story, like a lot of people understood who I truly was. Like people got to me inbox and said, oh, now we really understand you. Oh, now we know. Oh, now, I felt I have been so free. My heart is at peace. I am at peace with myself. It's like I gathered all the broken pieces and put it together, finding peace from broken pieces.
I mean, what did you do? What did you even do? Nothing. So, frankly speaking, you are carrying the perpetrator's burden, his shame. You are taking
You
his
can
shame because he's
imagine.
the one who has done something despicable. And yet, you are the one now who is ashamed. And
Clean.
this is
I was
psychology just
carrying his
twisting us
burden.
up like this. Like I was like, no, I cannot tell it. How can you tell somebody that kind of thing? Oh, what will people say? And
I
all
know.
of that. And then at some point, I was like, come on, give a damn about what will people say. How are you feeling inside you? And that's why I don't know what you say about this. She's asking if Mommy Bell is asking if you have ever seen your perpetrator since then, and how did he look at you?
Yes. I saw my perpetrator About 7, 8 years before I told my story. My dad was sick. So we rushed him to the hospital where he worked, to Lobe Estate
Ah,
Hospital.
okay.
Yes, he was passing. He passed by and he saw me sitting in front. Immediately I saw him, I felt like tearing him into pieces. Then I just told myself, like, people will be, why are you attacking this man? And I wouldn't have a story to tell them. By the way, my dad was lying unconscious inside the hospital. So he came and said, "You are here?" I said, "Yes." And what did it happen for you? I said, "My dad is sick." Oh, he got inside, greeted my mom, greeted my elder brother, and left. So I did not know, and we did not know on the day I was telling the story that he had died. We did not know. It is the final day that I told his story and called his name, that people came and commented that he died about 6 years ago. He died
Sweet.
about a lot of people. Oh, the boy don't die. Hey, the boy, now he walk that, now he walk that. I got punished, so he don't die, go to Baloko. It means this is something he had been doing to so many people, not to me, not only to me. You can imagine. I remember two girls that were living in the same place with me came to me in inbox and said, "My sister, then are you want?" Say he did the same thing to me. So you can imagine. Now he be now handwork. In the conference that we held, let me know, I'm not going to go deeper into it. Let me just share something. The conference that we held, there was one of the participants who attended that conference. Immediately she introduced herself. I told her, "My uncle will rape me," and she was like, she said, "What?" I said, "Yes." I called his name. She said, "Oh, I am so sorry." She called her mom immediately, and her mom told her that she heard the story when I told it on Facebook. So you can imagine.
I mean, well, you did well, sis. You did well because sometimes even the legal system doesn't do anything for us, you know. So take it the way you can take it, give it back to them, put back that shame and all of those things you had carried inside you, give it
Yeah.
back to them any way you can, publicly, private, anything to get that
Mhm.
thing off you. You remember at the Suva conference, I mean, I saw those girls and I was like, oh, these babies carrying things in their heart,
I
all the
know.
effect it has had on their life. And
Mhm.
after some of them spoke, it was like, oh my God, I didn't know that people will still look at me this way after I speak.
Mhm.
So I think
Mhm.
that families really need to kind of believe when the people tell them something and then continue to support them now, Nakinti. What
Yeah,
do you
of course. Families need to support their children because right now we are admitting children for the rape camp for 2021, and we have already had two children who have been raped. And the question that we ask them is, have you ever told anyone? And the answer was yes. Who did you tell? The response was, my friend. Now the question is, why don't they tell their parents? There is a problem between the relationship between parents and children, which must be
uh-huh.
fixed.
Yep.
Which must be fixed. That's already another angle that we are thinking of getting into, building a healthy relationship between children and their parents so that they can make them their friends, so children can feel comfortable to run to them when they have a problem, to easily tell them that, "Mom, this is what has happened to me." There is this strained relationship that we have with our children, which is not okay. We build a superwoman and superman wall in front of our children, not knowing that we are killing them. We are pushing them away. They have
We
their problems.
are.
They tell
We
us, because we
are.
are superwomen, we are supermen. No, these children are supposed to be our friends. We are supposed to make them comfortable. We are supposed to tell them that it's okay for them to tell us their problems. And, you know, ah,
And you know, Nakinti, if we don't do that and we send those children away, something happens to them like that. They
mhm,
don't tell us, they keep it. That bitterness
mhm,
becomes something like anger. Then they take
exactly.
it out on other children. For example, you know
Mhm,
where they say, yeah, you abused because you were abused. And it's
yeah,
because, well, even when you were abused, you did not have no support. You know, sometimes some families will even abuse you, will even insult you in that your depressed state. When you start behaving, the way it affects you, they will add insult
Exactly.
to it. They would make it in such a way that even if you ever wanted to open your mouth, you will not open your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You might run away, you might become promiscuous, you might start abusing other people. I think that if families understand that it's a very vicious cycle, it is not just the 50,000 or the hospital. Some will say, hey, okay, well, we'll take her to the hospital. I'm like, it's not just about taking the person to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
It is about hugging that person, loving that person, making them know it is not their fault, and that
Yeah.
yes, they will be afraid to sleep at night and everything, but they should not be
Mm-hmm.
scared of coming to you.
Mm-hmm.
And the most important parent, unfortunately or fortunately, is the mother. You're the one who gave birth to this child. So
Mm-hmm.
if you cannot take it like it's part of me, Nakinti, look at your children. Are they not part of you?
They are.
If somebody
They are.
touches any of your child, because both boys and girls can be raped. Hey, baby boss is saying that word.
These children are really disturbing. They just came back from school and they are coming one after the other. Hey, mama, this, mama, this. I'm trying to send them away.
Well, if they want to come and say hello, they can come. Me, I'm very informal, relaxed. If baby boss is there, let him come and say hello. I'm like, if somebody touches one of your children, Akinti, they've touched you now.
Exactly. Exactly.
When I hear of families or mothers say, oh, for the sake of the family name, I'm like, but you have already
Mhm.
touched me. So what is there to uphold in that family anymore?
What
You
is
touch
there to
any of my
uphold
children,
in
you
the
have touched
family?
back. So no way. You have touched me,
Yes.
I cannot stay quiet. I'm in pain.
How do we look at family? I think we asked a critical question on the last day of Suva. You had already gone. It was a very critical question that we asked everybody, and they responded. And the question was, uh, what do you want? What punishment would you want for your rapist? And some people said, kill them, castrate them, send them to life imprisonment, all the harsh punishments. And the next question was, if your rapist, if your son is a rapist and he was caught red-handed raping somebody, raping a child, raping a girl, raping a woman, what punishment would you want? And everybody went silent. And some people even said, I want to reverse my answer. Rapists should be sentenced and uh, rehabilitated. You know, this brings us back to the question, how do we see family? So when it comes to our family members, we feel that, I don't know, that emotional attachment to family more than people who are not our family, which is not okay. A rapist is a rapist. How do we correct this whole thing that is happening at rape? It's by building that relationship between parents and children. It's by telling our boys too that rape is not okay. It's by telling our girls to to tell us or to come close to us when it happens to them. It's by telling them to shout, run, and tell. We are not supposed to leave the boys alone. Somebody said during the conference that we have spoken to the girl child enough. It's time for us to walk to the boys and tell them what they have done. Because if
And
we
boys
still
can boys are being raped too anyway. So it's not only a girl's thing.
boys are being raped too, but the occurrence to girls is far more higher than the
Yeah, sure. Sure.
yeah. And because we are the weaker sex, because of
Yeah.
the unequal power relations, we find ourselves as the weaker sex. So it happens
Yeah.
more to girls than to boys. You know, we should change the way we look at family, even if family is sick. Because for a boy child to rape a girl, you are sick. If your family is sick to the point of committing a crime, then he should get the punishment of the crime.
Now there's this question Mommy Bell asked, like back to your case, but just if he had many victims, and she is saying that when we shoot the perpetrator, we are exposing other people, and that is something that sometimes people don't even realize. That
Yeah,
if you don't report him and
yeah.
his sentence and stuff, then you allow him there, and he just go and get the next. because I think it is something of, it's a mental something that people
Mm-hmm.
are sick.
Mm-hmm. And I have a little girl in my house who she has been staying with me for about 5 years at least. And she happens to be my mom's goddaughter. She came to me on holidays. There was one she came to me on holidays. That was about 2017 or 2016. And she told me that somebody attempted to rape her. Somebody attempted to rape her, and this person was close to our family. And I could not take it. That's how she started living with me in the first place. I had to call my mom and said, this is what this child has told me. And I do not believe that she is telling a lie. She is telling the truth, and she is scared of coming back to your house because this person is just around. She may do the same thing. It was a whole heated debate. I put like a lot of pressure. This person had to come to our house, come to Bamenda and apologize because it was an attempted rape. Because I told him I was going to expose him and I was going to send him to jail. And I meant it. I meant every word of it. That's how I took that little girl and started living with. Up till today, she's still in my house and going to school.
Good. Because
Yeah.
when we don't expose these people, when we don't make them know that we know them, then they will just continue, and can you imagine the family will stay with those secrets and stuff for years?
Yeah.
The family is being destroyed, whether we like it or
Mm-hmm.
not. Because
Mm-hmm.
let me say, in my case or in your case, if you had told and nobody believed you or nobody supported you, you're going
Mm-hmm.
to feel so bitter about it, and you
Mm-hmm.
take your distance. Now your own children will follow you too. Is that not the
Mm-hmm.
family that is still being destroyed? So
That
what
is
is
it.
this thing of let's keep the
That
word?
is it.
No, 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 keep the family. There's
Mm-hmm.
no way we keep the family together. Even if it is just attempted, better you even call that person out at that level
Mm-hmm.
so that they know
Mm-hmm.
that if they even try again, they are
Yes.
gone. Than to say, oh no, it was just attempted. No, more just leave and so no.
I have a little girl. We have a case in our we had a case in our office before the last GA camp last year. This little girl is about 8, and the uncle had been raping her repeatedly. I was not in the office when the father of the little girl came and reported. So when I came, they told me, I called the father to come. And when he came, before even he could say a word, he was crying profusely. He was crying, and why are you crying? He says, because it is family. And he wanted his cousin, who was raping his daughter, to be punished, but family says he shouldn't disgrace the family. So
Oh,
you can imagine, this girl is 8. That boy had raped her repeatedly at least 8 times. They took her to the hospital. She was infected with a venereal disease, and they had to treat this little girl. And even in the hospital, the nurses were saying, "Now family matter. Una go solve them for family." I was so annoyed. This little girl was part of the GAR camp of last year. I was so annoyed, and I told him, "Do you want us to follow this case?" He said, "Leave them. They will be left away from me. Don't put me. If I continue with this case, either my head go or my bikini head go." So I don't know. This is everything you go tell me. What can we do? What can we do if somebody says
we will
something?
just keep talking like you do so well, Nakinti, organizing Suva. I was at Suva and I was so touched. And next one, I saw one coming up in December, right?
Yeah.
Please just invite me again, or even if you don't invite me, I'll come. I'll get scratched.
Uh-huh. Of course.
Was
That is
was
why
that the
that is
first
why
one you
we
were
are holding
organizing? I'm
Suva.
not sure.
Eh?
Was that the first Suva you were organizing?
Yes, the one that you attended was the first.
That was the first
This is
one.
supposed to take on. Yes, it's supposed. This the one coming up is
Oh my
supposed to be the second.
goodness. How did
Mhm.
you feel about it? How did you feel before organizing it? And how
I
did you
don't
feel
know.
after?
I don't know. I just sat on the bed one day and I was thinking about what project to write, and this project came to my head. So when I wrote this project and sent it to the somebody that I wanted to fund,
Yeah.
she was like, "How did you think about this?"
Ah, the
I said,
same thing.
"Because yes." I said, because it is high time we use our voices as survivors
Yes.
to, to name our rapists and tell our stories. Because I believe if all of us who have been raped are bold enough to tell our stories and name and shame our rapists, those who are supposed to rape other girls are going to think about it and say, hey, if I do this thing tomorrow, they will call my name. And some of them will actually not do it because of that. So at this point, we do not only need a critical mass of women who can talk, we need a whole population, a whole village of women who are able to talk about it, who are able to say, I was raped and it is not
Yeah.
my fault. And this is the person
Yeah.
who raped me, denounce them.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
potential rapists will look at it and say, hey, no, me,
Yeah.
no go one way tomorrow, they can't call my name. I no go one way tomorrow, they can't call my name. When I call the name of my rapist, some people were like, hey, I'm married to the Kanchakara. And so if the man don't marry, how you want to make a woman feel? Oh, really? Somebody who damaged my life and you say you want to make a woman feel? Let me tell you, I have in my entire life that first rape and first sex, never ever had a successful sexual encounter with a man. I have to fight for at least 30 minutes. And to me,
Can you imagine?
I felt like
Can
it
you
was me,
imagine?
not knowing it was the
And you're
fallout
not the
of
only one, eh? Yeah, even me. Even
years ago.
me. I now
Yes.
realize where it's coming from, and I'm like,
Yes.
I'm working on that. But
Yes.
we take some things for granted now, but it
Yeah.
has such a deep, deep, deep effect. I
Consequences.
remember once we were at the Mommy Belly's here, we were at oh my goodness. It starts for me campaign to raise awareness in a
Mm-hmm.
school, and a woman who was like 54 years old was talking about the challenges she'd had. And it was attended like when she was 17, but up to that
Mm-hmm.
54 years old, she was still having challenges. So this is not
Yeah.
something that we can take for
Yeah.
granted. So when
It
we
is.
say a family matter like that, what about the individual and the person in that family who did that? By even doing that for them, that already breached the family, they don't care about the family. Nakinti, if you care about your family member, would you do that kind of a
Yes.
thing to your
You
family
will
member?
not. You
So
will
why are
not.
we not even thinking about how
You
that
will
person has
not.
let the family down? We are instead
Mm-hmm.
thinking of how now to, whether it's savage, the person savage family. The person has already
Yeah.
abused the family.
How not to wash your dirty linens in public, as they put it.
Sorry, yo. That's why I came to that conference, Nakinti. I was like, I will only come to Kumba. Let Amber then get me on the road. I don't care. I will come. And I would talk about it on Facebook, and I would make sure I host Nakinti. Let's talk about that conference again. Because for me, it was the first time I've been watching those things on YouTube. I have
Mm-hmm.
been and I was like, when are we going to organize something like this in Cameroon? And I was
Mm-hmm.
really thinking about it. So when you reached out to me in December, it was supposed to be in December. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, December, oh, Amber and everything. And I was like, but no, you have to go, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So later you was pushed to January because you lost your brother. And I was like, oh my goodness. Oh, Nakinti, but you did
Mm-hmm.
so well. And then you
Mm-hmm.
see the girls came in the beginning, they were not so sure about sharing, but you assured them and you told them it is your power you are getting back.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be afraid of cameras and everything. No, think about the power you are getting, baby
Mm-hmm.
boss. Oh,
The boy has come with a big smile.
oh my boy. Come on now.
Mm.
Carry him. Let him be part of it. Oh, I beg. When you start, you will go.
Mm.
Yeah, you soon you will want to go down.
Mhm. Seriously, and that is the same problem that we are having. We are having the problem of women who are still afraid to talk.
Yeah.
We want to build that confidence in women to tell them that their voice is powerful. Their story is power. We want to make
But you have
women feel
started,
powerful.
Nakinti, you have started.
Yeah.
Take credit for that. You have
I
started.
remember it was so difficult for us to get participants, and even some of the participants that we had, in the end, some had to decline. I remember there was one applicant who said she is a product of rape. She actually applied that she
Yeah.
is a product of rape. And it is
Yeah.
only after putting her mom pressure that her mom told her that she's a product of rape. And her mom told her never to tell the story until she dies.
Oh
So the
no.
yes, in the application we called her.
When
Application we called her. And I told her, but what do you want? She says, I want to tell this story. But I am just afraid my mom will die if I have to tell this story.
oh,
Because she has asked me never to
oh,
tell the story. So I said, so what do you prefer? What do you think? This is your mom we are talking about, and this is about you because you say you want to find inner
Can
peace.
you imagine?
You want to tell your story so that other people can learn. And in the end, she said she was not going to come.
Yeah, there
Yes,
is that
because
dilemma. There is that,
yes,
we when we organized the first walk, solidarity walk, sensitization walk against
mhm,
rape in Douala and Yaoundé with Mommy Bell, there was one volunteer who is also a product of rape, and
mhm,
they told us, and I was like, oh, thank you for sharing. How are you feeling? And they said just coming to volunteer for that work because they came from Bamenda to
mhm.
Douala. And I was like, how can you leave Bamenda to come and volunteer in Douala?
I
They said,
know.
no, they are coming because they want to open up and they want to do something for the cause against rape. And I
Mhm.
was like, I think people don't come now because they are still scared about what will people say. But
What will
eventually,
people
you will start
say?
having participants until you will be selected.
I know. I
Yeah.
know. I
It
know.
was
People,
so
everybody is trying to
healing.
find their
I think
voices.
for me, myself, and for those girls, oh my goodness. Now,
Mhm.
congratulations. So
Thank
I left
you.
before the end, so I didn't really
Yes.
hug you. And so I was like, no, I'm going to tell Nakinti when we are on this show together. I was like, you did something so wonderful, even for me, myself. I was like, no, 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 no. The next one, I'm coming. I will see it on Facebook. I'll just show up. You don't even need to invite me. I will just come. And
We
I will
have
stay
to
until the
continue
end.
to do this, we inspire each other every day. I love the work that
Yeah.
we're doing. When the girl camp that we are supposed to have, like I said, was funded by Dining for Women, and it's a big grant. And when they were asking me about, they asked the question because we hold conferences, online conferences prior to our first camp. So in the last conference, that was on June 1, they asked about whoa, what has been going on the legal side as far as prosecuting rape victims are concerned. And I talked a lot about you. They said they were going to look up, they were going to see and see what you have been doing. I said there is a lawyer in Cameroon called Maria Banga, and they were so happy to.
Oh, I can't wait for another case where I'm going
Oh
to
no.
follow up to you because we got a life sentence for one of those guys there in Betwa, and it was like
Mhm.
I was crying, Nakinti. Sometimes you think you
Uh-huh.
are strong, eh? But no, 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 no.
Mhm.
That's some things that was a 3-year-old child, Nakinti. You saw that case now. Come on,
Mhm.
Nakinti.
I
Come
saw
on.
it.
What
I
happens to
followed it.
people? Why?
Marie, just 1 minute. Let me call somebody. Yeah.
Okay. Oh wow. So that boy is still volunteering for us, for Network for Solidarity, Hope and Empowerment. The boy who was a product of rape, he's still
Okay.
volunteering in Bamenda. He doesn't want to
Okay.
keep that shame again at all. And frankly speaking, Akiti, after you talk, which shame again? Who can do what to you? All
I
those nasty
know.
comments on Facebook, what do they do to you?
Nothing. It made
Ah,
me stronger.
we move, we move,
You
we
know.
move. I'm just so proud. I'm so proud of what you are doing. And then I see that you were even you have the boys against rape and the girls against rape, right? Motherhood not easy.
I know. I know. This time
Don't worry,
around, we are
soon
going
we'll
to have
finish.
boys. So we
Don't
want to
worry.
balance the. We are going to have boys against rape because for 2021 we are going to have
Uh-huh.
4 camps. For 2022 we are going to have 4 camps. So 1 to 3. One of the camps is going to be for boys, 5 to 15, and then 3 of the camps is going to be for girls. So we have
Okay.
we just want to include boys this time around.
Okay. So why are you separating boys and girls? Because the first one I saw they were together.
No,
Since
no,
we
no.
want
The
people
first,
to live
no,
together. Yeah.
the first camp of last year we had only girls.
Oh, I saw a picture there. I saw some people looking like small boys there. Was it girls
No,
who
no,
just
no.
had low hair?
Yes, I think there were girls with low hair. There were no boys. It was exclusively for girls.
Ah, okay. But so now you want to involve boys.
Yes, we
Baby
want to
boss.
include boys. I think they are the ones who rape, so we are supposed to tell them that rape is not okay. We have to include them.
Oh yeah. And from the earliest age, right?
From the earliest age, from 5 to 15, at least. From 5, they can understand.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
So if people want to register their children, they just reach out on the Facebook page.
Yes, currently it's for the whole of Kumba. So currently the volunteers are going out to the quarters to register little girls and little boys.
Ah,
I
okay.
think people do not know about the program.
Yeah.
Those who attended last year want to attend this year because it's so rich. So because we need a lot of children this year, the volunteers are in the quarters registering children, signing their consent forms, and taking their birth certificates and all of that. So we can have them, because the first session is supposed to take place from mid-June, mid-July,
Yeah.
mid-July,
And
yes.
are you limiting to Kumba or to the southwest or
For
what's the
now, we are
plan?
limiting to Kumba. Hopefully, we can get more funding to do it in other towns. For now, our project area is Kumba.
Okay.
Yes.
And the important thing is that since you also do a lot of awareness, talking about it on social media and on the radio, I saw your
Mm-hmm.
team go to the radio. People are going
Mm-hmm.
to be listening somehow. And then
Yes.
when you expand, it's going to be, and then we can work in partnership, and organize
Mm-hmm.
something, for example, in Douala, and I am kind of like
Exactly.
an implementation partner in Douala. And
Mm-hmm.
because as Mommy Bell says, it is the cost. So we mobilize, we work together, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
not like
Yeah.
it's about HYB, it's about REWOCAM, it's about, for me,
Mm-hmm.
it is really like anywhere I'm invited for a course like this one,
Mm-hmm.
I go. I don't have no problem at all.
Okay, that's true. That's true. I think
Yeah.
we can as well work as a team. If you have the courage to come to Kumba during one of these camps, we are going to call you to come. It's very important,
Okay,
because
well, so we're going.
it's a week-long camp that takes 1 week. Usually takes 1 week, and it's so tiring, so jam-packed from morning to afternoon, every day, putting all the logistics together, food, paying transportation for the children, and all of that.
You have a powerful team, especially
Yes,
your
I think
project
I'm proud
manager.
of my
I mean,
volunteers.
I didn't even contact you for anything. I just contacted her and got everything I needed from her.
I know
You are
she's a
blessed.
power worker.
Yeah, you are blessed. I'm like,
Thank
I
you.
wish to have just one person like that too for H4AB. But I know that with time,
With
I'm
time,
not even up to 3 years
with
old,
time.
so
Yeah,
I'm still learning while working. I'm also learning,
of course.
and I really appreciate
Mhm.
the way you open up and the way you share and all of that. Why do you want
Okay.
the to be boss? I don't mind him being part of the show, and we are going to wrap up soon,
Mhm.
Nakinti. What's his
Mhm.
trouble? What's he affecting you?
Okay.
Allow him to be part of the show.
No, no, no. It's not even about him. It's about can tell people who are here to do something.
Yeah, and I forgot to share also that the last time the Network for Solidarity, Hope and Empowerment was doing something in Yaoundé for
Mhm.
um, April Sexual Assault Awareness Month, three,
Mhm.
three, three survivors also shared their stories. So
Okay.
gradually, people are beginning to get that
I'm
courage
beginning
to
to
share their
understand
stories.
the
Right?
importance of
Yeah,
sharing their stories. You
we have
know.
to encourage them.
Mm-hmm.
Because as much as we don't want rape in the society, it is happening. And so people who
Yes.
have been raped, they don't have to feel like, well, I've already been raped, so I better keep quiet. No,
Mm-hmm.
we want them to talk. I think that the more they talk, the more we shame perpetrators, and the more they are scared to actually keep doing what they are doing. And also, we put pressure
The
on
more
law
going on.
enforcement, because Nakinti, that's a problem. I don't know how it is, but here in Douala, it's like they are in no haste to prosecute.
Yeah,
They instead
they are not.
want to,
They are not.
even there in
They are not.
Kumba.
Well, I think in Kumba, I want to see how it's going to go on because I went to see the state council, the senior state council, and he's ready to work with me. So I think we
Yeah.
are going to work from now on. He's ready
Okay.
to work with me. He says we should send cases, and he's going to gather data for us on what has been going on in the past years, so we can measure in the end of it.
Because if the family doesn't allow the matter to go to, let's say, to the level of the court cannot
Mhm.
do nothing. It's not like,
Yes.
I don't know if for example, theft, when it is just
Mhm.
automatic, that if they catch you stealing, it is not a state affair. No,
Mhm.
if you don't report a rape case, they cannot do anything. And if at the level of the police preliminary inquiry, you withdraw the case, then they cannot send that case to court. So people should hear this and know that once you report, don't withdraw, don't settle for any whether it's negotiation or compensation. How much money can unrape somebody? How much money?
I wonder. Okay, I just finished talking with them, so we can just keep talking.
It's okay now.
I
We are just
wonder.
wrapping up, but I'm just trying to send
Mhm.
home this point that there's no amount of money that can unrape somebody. There's no amount of money. And that there are organizations like ours who can help. But people don't even want to come
Yeah.
up. No,
Mhm.
because all they want is money. Money to
That's
do what?
true.
Go to the hospital. After hospital,
Mhm.
what else? What
What
about the
next?
psychological effects?
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, so
Exactly.
Nakinti,
Mhm.
how do we wrap up? What do we tell people? What do we tell families? What do we tell perpetrators? What do we tell victims? What do we tell survivors? Four people, Nakinti.
Let me start with families. I want to talk to families that they should give their children all the necessary support. Make your children your friends. You cannot be a tyrant to your children. You cannot be distant from your children. You should be as close as possible to your children so that they will feel comfortable to tell you their problems when problems arise. So make your children your friends. You are not a superman or a superwoman. You gave birth to them. It is your responsibility to take care of them and make them comfortable around you. To perpetrators, to those who are going around raping people, to all the people that they work at the rape and they picking them for quarter, rape mommy will come out for farm, rape picking will come out school, rape picking for your quarter. Rape is wrong. It is criminal and it is punishable. Mami lawyer, now you go tell me how they call them. If you punish them for outside, they call that in a penal code. Rape is punishable. You should not do it. If you do it and you are caught, we are going to take you to where the law is going to take its course. It's not okay. Ask yourself, if I am raping somebody's daughter, what happens to me then if to victims, let me call them survivors. That's the right word to use. To survivors of rape, please, gone are the days where we continue to stay silent and the thing was eating us up and affecting our lives negatively. It's time for us to stand up, break the silence, tell our stories, denounce the rapist by calling their names because it's not okay, and by so doing, people will be scared. If they know that you are going to call their name, that you raped them, they will be scared that tomorrow you are not going. They will not be able to do it the next day. So, so dear survivors, it's time to tell your stories. Use the loudest voice that you can to shout it out. That this is what they did to me. This is who did it. And I'm saying this because I want to free the young girls and the young boys who may be raped in future. There is still one person I've talked about. There's survivors, family, perpetrators. What again?
They were victims, the ones who have not yet told their stories and who are still so afraid. Because I'm thinking that survivors are even people who are already kind of aware and kind of ready and just need that
Mhm.
little push. But the people that it has just happened to them, even if it's attempted, and they are still in so much shock, and they don't even know who to reach out to, just like even before they decide to come to an
Seek
event or stuff
help.
like that.
Seek help. For those who have just been raped, seek help. There are all the available services around you. If you cannot find a government service, which is social affairs or women's empowerment, to the hospital. Once you get to around going to the hospital, going to the police, and then reporting to whoever, social affairs or state council and all of that, there is a procedure. But the most important thing, if you are raped, if you happen to find yourself in a situation of rape, rush to the hospital. That is the first thing that even the legal system will be asking from you. They want to see
Yeah,
evidence
yeah, that's true. That's true.
that you were raped.
Sometimes we
So
don't do that.
when you are raped, do not take your bath, do not remove your dress, rush to the
Yeah.
nearest health center or hospital or clinic so that they can conduct all the tests on you to
Yeah.
ascertain that you have been raped, because in
Have the
all the
evidence, give
offices
you.
they need
Yeah.
that report to attest that they actually raped. So when you have gone through all of those preliminary stages, and then you feel like you have now found your voice, you can stand up and tell your story.
Now, I invited you as founder of REWOCAM, but I'm going to just ask you a little something about, the public policy. Is there any plan? I know you might not speak for the whole ministry and stuff, but when we talk women empowerment, is sexual education or sexual empowerment? I don't know. Is there any program to kind of like get women to talk about this, and then to see what they can do when something like this happens, to make it less of a taboo? I don't know if you
I
get what
think,
I'm thinking. Yeah.
yeah, I think there are a lot of programs. Like for the Ministry of Women on four broad services. And these services are: one, service for women and gender; service for economic advancement of the woman; service for statistics; and service for, I don't know, it should be general affairs or economic advancement, or mixing up. So all of those services have their different programs. And in the service for women and gender, their responsibility is to handle social issues that to empower women socially. So the person who is responsible for this have to take into consideration the social needs of women. And so
Huh.
all things around rape and sexual violence and education and all of that fall within this service. So yes, there is a program under the ministry which is supposed to take care of it. One of the biggest problems or challenge that they are facing is staffing, because they do not have the number of staff required to go
Yeah.
to the field and to
And do
spread
you
the word.
work in closely with social affairs? Because I know that there's
Yes.
also Ministry of Social Affairs.
Yes, we work closely with social affairs. They are our closest neighbor.
Okay, that's good.
Yes. Mhm.
Thank you for that information. Now, I
Yes.
want to let you go so that Baby Boss has their attention, because I know that you are also a very busy person. Sometimes Baby Boss will not even see you for days or for hours and stuff. So I
I
beg,
know.
carry my baby, take care of my baby. Thank you so much. See you in Kumba in
Thank
December by the grace
you.
of God. I'm coming,
Yeah.
invitation or no invitation.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep sharing whenever I see anything come up, because people should register. It was beautiful. Oh my goodness. The food, the sharing. No, let me not start with food. Sorry. The fun, the fun and the food and the whole environment. It's true that the cut light for some time, but so what? We are where we are, so that's
Mhm.
good. Thank you so much. Now I really
Mhm.
appreciate. Let me wrap up and then I call it a day. To It's lunchtime here. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Have a nice day. You have a beautiful
Thank
program.
you.
Keep
Thank you,
moving.
baby boss. Wow, wow, wow. So that was it with Nakiti, and she shared her own story. And when we know better, we do better. So that means that now that we know that some families can be supportive, let's talk to our families. And then if they are not supportive, you have all these organizations. Reach out. We are all on social media: Network for Solidarity, Open Empowerment, Rescue Women, Hope for the Abused and Battered, Hope for the vulnerable, orphans and vulnerable. There is a lot. Just type it. You are not going to laugh. Ask somebody, who can I talk to? Don't suffer in silence anymore, because even if you did not have a sexually transmitted disease or you did not get pregnant, the trauma, it stays there. It would affect you physically, mentally, emotionally. So please, 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 please. And the 19th is coming. It is a day for victims of sexual violence during conflict. And with the crisis going on in Cameroon since 2016, I would have asked Nakinti that, but she had to go. And I also know some people who have come to me who have been abused during the conflict. We've seen so many cases on the internet. I remember once there was this case of mass rape in Boya or somewhere, military rape, over 20 people. That's what state numbers gave us. But it could be more. I don't know how these people are doing. So if you watch this and you know of any such people, you can tell them to reach us. And then let's keep raising our voices like this. Let's not be silent anymore, because perpetrators actually want you to keep quiet. They want you to stay with that shame, so that you don't expose them, and so that they're also able to keep going and keep raping other people. So when you expose them, you give them back their shame, and you also protect the next victim. If you need courage, contact Maria Banga, even privately. you know if you don't want to come open yet, contact me. I'm a psychotherapist. We can build that courage up together, and then when you be ready, you will talk. And whatever stigma you face, whatever nasty comments people write on Facebook, that will mean nothing to you. So until next time, thank you so much, those who watch. I want to really thank you, my big sister, my mommy Belle. Thank you so much for all your thought-provoking comments and everything. I really appreciate you. All those who will watch, those who will share. And if you have an organization and you're doing some work in the community and you want to be hosted on H5B, it's all about raising awareness. That's all I'm doing. Don't hesitate to contact me. And so until next time, God bless us all.